Losing your job can be a stressful and overwhelming experience, but it's important to remember that it's not the end of the world. In this video, we'll go over some practical tips and strategies for getting through a layoff and coming out on the other side even stronger. First and most important, let's talk about building an emergency savings fund. It's a good idea to have at least a few months worth of living expenses set aside in case of unexpected events like a layoff. This can help you pay for your bills and cover your most basic needs while you look for a new job. Emergencies can happen to anyone at any time, and they can be financially devastating if you're not prepared. That's why it's important to have an emergency fund, a savings account that you can turn to in case of unexpected expenses. Having an emergency fund will give you the financial peace of mind that you will need to handle unexpected expenses. When it comes to defining an emergency fund, there are several types of expenses that fall into this category. Some expenses include medical expenses, job loss, or major car repairs. These are all unexpected expenses that can put a significant strain on your finances. That's why it's important to have a separate savings account for emergencies so that you don't have to use your regular savings account or go into debt to pay them. As for how much to save, most financial experts recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of saving expenses set aside in your emergency fund. This is a good starting point, but ultimately, the amount you save should be based on your own financial situation. The idea is that this money should be enough to cover your expenses in case of a job loss or other unexpected expenses. You guys know I live and breathe a good budget. As to me, budgeting is one of, if not the most important thing when it comes to personal finance and saving. And now that you know how much to save, you'll need to know how to save it. One of the best ways to do this is by setting a budget. By determining how much you're currently spending and where your money is going, you'll be able to identify areas where you can cut back and put more money towards your emergency fund. Make sure you're tracking your spending bi-monthly to have a clear picture of how much you can save. In addition to cutting back on your expenses, there are other ways to find extra money to save. You can try picking up a side hustle such as YouTube, freelancing offline or online on Fiverr, or selling items online through eBay or Amazon. Or maybe look into ways to increase your income, like asking for a raise at work or starting a new business. Every little bit helps when it comes to building your emergency fund. Once you've got some money saved, it's important to choose the right type of savings account for your emergency fund. High yield savings accounts and money market accounts both offer higher interest rates than traditional savings accounts. So your money can grow faster. Consider the best option for you and your goals. Make saving a regular habit. What I do, and one of the best ways to do this, is by setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account. I do this when I get paid, so I intentionally don't even see the money. This way, you won't have to remember to transfer the money yourself, and you'll be less likely to spend it. Also, try to always have a specific savings goal in mind. That way, you'll have a motivation to continue saving. Next, it's important to network and actively search for new job opportunities. Update your resume and LinkedIn profile. Reach out to your professional contacts and consider joining job search groups or attending career fairs. In the meantime, it's also a good idea to look for ways to reduce your expenses. Look for ways to cut back on non-essential spending and consider negotiating with your creditors or landlord for temporary payment plans or deferrals. You know where I'm going with this. Again, BUDGET. Say it with me, budget. The easiest way to cut back on expenses, and there are apps that can help you do it. You Need a Budget or YNAB, Mint, Simplify, which is by Quicken, Pocket Guard, are all just some apps to name a few. I'm not sponsored, but if one of them wants to sponsor me, that's cool. Okay, whatever. Cooking at home, canceling cable, and trimming down entertainment costs in other ways. Yes, that means cut back on subscriptions. I know at first it might be a little rough, but you'll get through it. Reducing electricity usage are all ways to lower bills and overall costs. It's also important to take care of your emotional and mental well-being during this time. It's normal to feel anxious or depressed after a layoff, but it's important to seek support and find healthy ways to cope. This could include talking to a therapist, joining a support group, or finding healthy outlets like exercise, or hobbies. Finally, remember to stay positive and proactive. It can be easy to get discouraged, but it's important to stay motivated and focused on your goals. Don't be afraid to reach out for additional support if you need it. Losing your job can be a challenging experience, but it's important to stay positive and take action to improve your situation. By following these tips and seeking support when needed, you can survive a layoff and come out even stronger on the other side. Thanks for watching. I hope these tips were helpful, and I hope that you're able to navigate this difficult time with grace and resilience.